Hello to everyone. I'd like to welcome all participants that agreed to take part in this session of the risk visualization experiment. Before we commence the experiment, I would like to give a bit of background as to what we're trying to achieve through this study and experiment. We're trying to enhance safety standards on construction sites in the UK by trying to develop and assess a novel approach to risk communication. The objective of this experiment is to compare and assess the effectiveness of different methods of construction risk communication. Today you'll be engaging with a safety brief for a specific construction task required in the following residential building. In order to communicate the construction steps that you must follow, a 3D model has been prepared on SketchUp and rendered on Lumion. Each slide represents one step of the construction sequence. The safety briefing revolves around the construction of composite balconies on the residential building shown before. Here are some preliminary sketches drafted by a structural engineer. The selection of this project has been made due to its architectural complexity and therefore challenge in construction. Following the presentation of the construction sequence, you will be asked to answer a set of questions in a question form that will be provided to you. The questions will assess your understanding of the risks associated with the construction sequence and your opinion on how severe you believe the construction sequence to be. As we look at step 1, let's focus on the setup of the site entrance and the construction site fencing. This is the first point of contact for workers and visitors entering the site, and as such, it's a critical component for ensuring the safety and security of the construction area. Consider the various elements that come into play when establishing a safe and functional site entrance. Think about the flow of traffic, both pedestrian and vehicular, and how they interact. Reflect on what measures are in place to guide and protect individuals as they enter and exit the site. Now, take a moment to observe the fencing around the construction site. Fencing is not just a boundary marker, it serves as a barrier between the construction activities and the public. It's an important feature for the site security and safety. As we move on to step 2, we're focusing on the site safety rules that are a cornerstone of maintaining a safe working environment. This step is all about communication and enforcement of safety protocols. Take a moment to look around this scene. You notice various signs and notices. These are in place to inform and guide the behavior of everyone on site. They serve as a reminder of the operational boundaries and the conduct expected within them. Now let's consider the location and visibility of these safety signs. How effectively do they communicate the necessary information? Are they in positions where they can easily be seen and understood by all who pass by? In step 3, our attention is drawn to the pedestrian pathways and the access to the site office. This step is crucial as it involves the movement of personnel within the construction area, which must be managed carefully to ensure safety. Look closely at the pathways designed for foot traffic. Consider their layout, width, and material used for the walking surface. How do these factors contribute to safe and efficient movement? Reflect on the importance of keeping these pathways clear from obstructions and hazards. Now, shift your focus to the access points to the site office. This is typically a hub of activity where various personnel may come and go. Think about how these access points are managed to maintain safety standards. What features can you see that are intended to control access? As you examine the elements within this scene, think about the potential hazards that could arise in this area. For step 4, let's delve into the erection of scaffolding, an essential stage in construction that enables workers to access various heights safely. As you survey the scaffolding structures, consider the role in providing secure platforms for the workers. Think about the design and assembly of a scaffolding. How does the configuration ensure stability and safety? What components are critical for the integrity of the structure? Notice the workers interacting with the scaffolding. Their movements and activities can offer insights into the practical aspects of scaffold safety. How are workers positioned, and what safety equipment are they utilizing? Reflect on the protocols that might be in place for assembling and disassembling these structures effectively. What training or competencies must the workers possess to carry out these tasks effectively? In your assessment of the scene, identify areas where potential risks may arise. For step 5, we will be observing the crane lift of IPE beams, a critical operation that requires precision, control, and safety considerations. As you look at this scene, notice the crane and its positioning. Consider the steps involved in preparing for a lift, the rigging, the communication between the crane operator and the signal person, and the movement of the beams. Think about the importance of the crane's stability and the load security. Pay attention to the workers involved in the step. Are they positioned safely? Do they have the necessary personal protective equipment? How are they ensuring that they remain clear of the load and the crane's operational path? Reflect on the surrounding environment. What is happening below the area where the beams are being lifted? Are there measures in place to prevent unauthorized access to this zone during the lift? In step 6, we are presented with a task of attaching UPN 140 sections, which involves final welding activities. This is a highly skilled operation that requires attention to detail and adherence to safety protocols. Observe the workers as they perform their tasks. Welding is not only a skillful trade, but also one that comes with its own set of inherent risks. Consider the equipment they are using and the protective gear they have on. How do these tools and gear contribute to their safety? Pay attention to the environment around the welders. The placement of safety barriers suggests an awareness of the need to control access to the welding area. What other factors need to be considered to maintain a safe distance between the welding activities and other site operations? Consider the potential hazards that could result from the welding process. In step 7, we turn our focus to the installment of architectural elements, which is a detailed and often final touch in the construction process. As you observe the worker handling a large panel, consider the importance of proper manual handling techniques. Think about the weight and dimensions of the materials and how these factors influence the approach to their safety and secure installation. Examine the safety measures already visible in the scene. Guardrails are present, but what else can be done to ensure the worker's safety while handling materials at height? Reflect on the tools and equipment being used to secure the architectural elements in place. What role do these tools play in minimizing the risk of an accident? Are there any additional tools or equipment that can be utilized to enhance safety? As you review this scene, think about the potential hazards associated with the installation of large and possibly heavy materials. In step 8, we'll be observing the process of a concrete pour on a metal deck. As you examine this scene, consider the complexity of pouring concrete at height. The coordination between the pump operator and workers on the deck is vital. Think about the signals and communication methods they might be using to ensure the pour is conducted smoothly and safely. Take note of the positioning of the workers and the equipment. The pump arm extends over the work area. How does this influence the planning of the pour? What safety checks must be in place to ensure the stability of the pump truck and the safety of the workers? Look at the staging area for the pour. Is there clear access for workers? How might the flow of concrete be managed to prevent overflow or excessive weight in one area? Reflect on the potential risks involved in this activity. The safety briefing has now been complete. You will now be provided with a question sheet that you will have to complete in the remaining time of the session. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and I'll be going around to address your questions.